and let's be honest, we don't want to see me fight. After one or Tyson Fury. Let's go, baby. And Dave Allen, where you at? My bitch is ready. Tyson, don't be a bit... Okay, I can't say TV. Sorry. Close.
What's good, family? Obviously, once again, big shout out to my soldier, Zachary Allen, for coming through and boosting up the YB's coins once again. Now, any other dons out there who want to join the team, join the squadron, join the platoon, receive exclusive elite content, extra exclusive elite content, check out the join button, YB memberships, no doubt. Now, moving on to today's topic, we just heard there from your man's Dillian Whyte. Yeah? Now, I can't lie to you, I find it quite interesting. For many years, Dillian Whyte said AJ's media trained and whatever else, and this is how deep the institution of the media has got into all these fruity cats. Or this is how deep. This is what money does to you. Money softens everyone up. You've got Dillian Whyte now on the media, or in the media. We just watched him, and he's more worried about, rather than being raw. Like, for example, do you, man, remember Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson was 10 times bigger than Dillian Whyte. He didn't give a not even a little bit of a did he give. He told the man, if you don't like it, guess what? Turn off your station, because do you know why? This is the fight business. And to be fair, at that point in time, Mike was pretty moist, relatively speaking. He weren't no Customato 19-year-old 1986 Mike. He was the wiping tears or wiping the blood stain off of Lennox Lewis's face Tyson. Or sorry, no, he was in between. I believe, yeah, he wasn't that moist. He weren't fully moist yet. He wasn't 2003 moist, but he was in that transition phase. What we do know is he weren't no Customato, totally ferocious in the ring and out. Yeah, that's what he wasn't. So my point is, a relatively moist Mike told the man, if you don't like it, turn the station off. And that's what, and the thing is, what gets me is, Dillian Whyte roasted and rode AJ, arguably rightfully so, for being media trained. And now, Mr. Dillian, yeah, see what happens when you get a few coins. When you get a few coins, it starts changing the way you act. But then again, like I said, that's not even true, because we've seen people like Mike again. Now, I guess you could argue LYB Mike's an extreme example, but listen, Dillian Whyte's supposed to be Yardman extreme, no? Is he not? Is he not supposed to be Brixton X-rated? Yeah, why is Brixton X-rated worrying about, well, you know, I can't really say this, and say what you want to say. Let them beep it out if they need to, no doubt. I mean, how badly do you want it? Dillian, how rock hard are you for Tyson Fury? Because at the moment, it's sounding to me like you ain't that rock hard, because you're too busy. You know what I mean? Think about it. If Dillian Whyte was passionately in love with Tyson Fury right now, or in love with the idea of getting on top of him, yeah, 100%. If Dillian Whyte was in love, dreaming, thinking, tormented with the dreams of Tyson Fury right now, you wouldn't be, listen, I'll tell you what you wouldn't be doing. You wouldn't be worried about, oh, well, you know, I can't really say this, can't really say that. Say what you want to say, man. Yeah? Do you want him or not? Do you want him or not? And I remember the time when Tyson Fury was, years ago, 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, Tyson Fury was calling out the plumber. Yeah? He was calling out the famous Liverpool plumber and his boyfriend, Tony Belland. Yeah? But the way he did it, he weren't, listen, Tyson Fury went in, and rightfully so. Yeah? He told the plumber and his BF. He said, listen, you big stiff plumber and your big BF, Tony Belland. Yeah? And then obviously the media man was trying to get in there, trying to calm him down. But that's how it should be. Keep it raw. Because I don't know what it is, but these days, it's like the game is getting watered down, isn't it? I know really this shouldn't be topic of the video, but it's not topic of the video, but Dillian Whyte called Tyson Fury out, but I mean, it's getting moist, isn't it? Everywhere I look, there's moisture. And I wouldn't mind so much, again, but the fact that Dillian made it, listen, fair enough, some people go along to get along and they do their thing, but the fact Dillian had the audacity to roast AJ for being media trained, and now in my opinion, be consistent. If you've got a problem with media trained dons like AJ, so be it. But then don't. It's interesting because the minute now Dillian has obviously found himself in a similar position to AJ, i.e. making some coins now, all of a sudden he worried about what his partners are going to say. Oh, well, Sky and DAZN, you don't really want me to say this. Well, now you know how AJ felt. Oops. Yeah? So that's what I've always said to you, man. Unless I've lived through something, I don't like to really question people. Unless you're morally completely out of the way, I don't like to make value judgments on people's decisions, if that makes sense. Because guess what? If you ain't never had no coins, then you don't know, do you? You don't know until you know. One of them ones. Anyway, let's crack on. We're finished now roasting Dillian Whyte's moistness. Yeah, Dillian Whyte's moist hypocrisy. Moving on to the topic, because no matter what, yeah, is Dillian Mike Tyson 1986 rock hard for Tyson Fury? That we don't know, because he didn't communicate that. He communicated a business. It feels to me like, from Dillian's point of view, this is more of a business transaction. I can't lie to you. About 2 years ago, Dillian Whyte had this. There was, for me at least, there was a different type of energy being communicated from Dillian Whyte. He was talking about how he hit Tyson Fury and he left Tyson Fury murmuring in the sparring session. Now, all we hear is a lot about, it's a big money fight. Yeah, there's no other bigger fights around, and let's make some good money together, and let's go to purse bids, and let's make money. I'm sorry, but that's all I keep hearing. And the fact that he didn't even let that raw emotion come out, because there ain't none. It's all about, for me now, it feels like the whole game, and even this example, but it's all about the money now, isn't it? I don't hear no raw passion. For example, think of Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. You genuinely, them two would have gone in there, you know what I'm saying, regardless. Mike Tyson and, I'm trying to think who there was, but you know what I mean, them ones. Lennox Lewis and people. There was people who did he fight? Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock. Why don't we get them kind of ones there? I'll tell you why. It's 2021, and there's a whole bunch of estrogen in the water, and men are growing nipples. Yeah, 100%. That's what happened right now. The toads are turning into next toads, female toads. And unfortunately, that is, if anything, if you were to track the way boxing has transformed in the last 30 years, boxing really is the best, or supposed to be the best representative of male, of maleness. And guess what? Maleness is down bad right now, because we've got a bunch of flip-flopping looking asses. Yeah? I mean, if it's not Dillian censoring himself and talking about the money and all this other stuff, you've got AJ, obviously. Yeah? One of them ones. So, where was I? Oh yeah, we're talking about Dillian and the money problem. The bottom line is, for me, there ain't no passion no more, is there? And yeah, I'm happy for Dillian to make money, and I'm happy for this whole Instagram, social media generation where it's all about the bag, but come on, man, at least lie to us. And that's why Tapper for a while was good, because yes, we know he'd go in there and fold. Yes, we know his body would fall apart, but he you know what I mean? He at least give us the passion. He'd give us that violent passion outside of the ring. He'd say the most ruthless things. Now again, don't get me wrong, we know he couldn't back none of it up, because the minute Habib hopped on him, Habib, the fact of the matter is, after the event, we now know Habib can have a go on Muktapa whenever he wants to. Yeah? Habib had to be pulled off him. Yeah? Habib hadn't, the referee decided, or the referee was the one who stopped Habib having a go, because Habib was, trust me, you best believe, Habib was prepared to ride Muktapa for another 10 minutes. Yeah, he weren't even full rhythm yet. He weren't even full rhythm. There was a good, I think, from what I understand, I believe Habib had about 100 miles to ride. Yeah, there was 100 miles of riding left in that. You know what I'm saying? Habib had somewhere to go. What, you think, wait a minute, Habib's in the US, he's got to get back to Kazakhstan. That's about 4,000 miles. That's a lot of riding. Yeah, his old nag Muktapa had to get him back there. So you best believe, going from Las Vegas to Kazakhstan has a whole lot of riding. And unfortunately, the only nag he had left in the stable was Muktapa. And you best believe, if the referee weren't there, Muktapa would have been rode all the way back to Kazakhstan. And obviously, Habib would have had the big belt on his shoulder as well. So that you got to bear in mind, it's no surprise now that Muktapa's leg gave in, because, trust me, if you'd been rode from Las Vegas to Kazakhstan, 4,000 miles, your legs will be snapping too, yeah? Old nag. And that's why some people say, the Grand National's not good, but listen, I'm telling you now, end of the day, when the nag's leg breaks, you got to put him down. Yeah, and that's why Muktapa be put down right now. His career's finished. His career ended when Habib rode him 4,000 miles. Yeah, 100%. And that's why I personally support the NSPCA and whatnot, because we need to make sure that animals, Yeah, we need to make sure. For me personally, animal, a nag, yeah, an old nag in Mactapa being rode 4,000 miles. That's just too long. That's abuse, in my opinion. Yeah, and we do that. We know for a fact that Mactapa was abused, 100%. It's a shame. Yeah, it's a real shame that Habib rode him way too far. Yeah, it's not. I've never heard of a nag lasting 4,000 miles all the way back to Kazakhstan. No doubt. But anyway, my point was, even though Mactapa got rode and his legs got rode off him, 100%. Even though we now know Habib had the best. Listen, Habib took the best days of Mactapa's legs, 100%. However, for that period of time, in fact, even still today, to be fair to Mactapa, he's still talking. Yeah? Even though it's not believable and it's not the same, but the point is, it was for a point of time believable. And to be fair to Dillian Whyte, he hasn't wasted that capital the fans have invested in him, if that makes sense. Meaning that Mactapa has lost all of our confidence. No one believes what he's saying. But from Dillian Whyte's point of view, he should be in that stage right now. Yeah? Just totally dog and a bone kind of thing for Tyson Fury. Instead, it's all a bit manufactured these days, isn't it? You don't get, again, what do you mean manufactured? Well, I'm talking about, why is it we can't have none of them love stories, them Nigel Benn and Eubank ones, them, you know what I'm saying, them vicious lovers rage ones? Why don't we get them ones? We get it's all about, I guess to be fair, the last one was pretty recently. We had the Fury and Wilder. That was the best example of that recently. But with someone like Dillian, I'd just expect a bit more venom, personally speaking. I want to hear venom. I don't want to hear from Eddie Hearn. Why, Dillian, why'd you keep wheeling out Eddie Hearn to talk about the purse bids? And wheeling out the financial opportunity? You should be headlining. You should be leading this stuff. Yeah, because I tell you what, rather than wheeling Eddie Hearn out to shill for you and talk about, the fans need to pressure this. Listen, Dillian, if you was out there, yeah, communicating some of that Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank energy, the fans would naturally get behind it, if that makes sense. The fans don't want to hear about purse bids. Don't want to hear about. I understand from your point of view, whatever. But if you come out there and put out a Shakespeare kind of pitch, a real emotional pitch, and talk about the things you want to do, all that great stuff, then guess what? That then creates a narrative. It gets the fans involved to an extent where everyone's interested, everyone's bought into it. Yeah? Right now, well, people can take it or leave it, because you ain't sold it properly right now. Yeah? Right now, the fans are having to do use their own imagination, because you haven't communicated it. About 2 years ago, there were some videos that went out, but that was it. Recently, what you been saying? You've been whining and moaning about, I've been waiting 500 days, and I'm sorry, but after a while, especially when you haven't brought no lawsuits, yeah, after a while, whining and moaning and playing the victim game, it gets old. And even then, do your job. Your job is to be totally ferocious in the ring and out. In the ring and out. Yeah, Mike Tyson style. Do your job. Yeah. Less of the business stuff, less of the AJ, and more of trying to be raw. And it's a shame that we have to say this to Dillian, because Dillian was supposed to be the raw, was he not? People would say, AJ's the company man and Dillian's raw. Where'd the rawness gone? Because all we've heard for the last little while is whining and no rawness. That's a fact. Call me a liar. When have you seen Dillian Whyte be raw? Because that's where you get the fans on board. Yeah? 100%. So yeah, this was a bit of a moist call out from Dillian Whyte and whatever else. I mean, I can't lie to you. We know people like Tyson Fury. If you come out there and you proper ride his, what's the word? Well, think about it. If you're out there, me personally, yeah, if I was managing Dillian Whyte, or if I was Dillian Whyte, I'd be calling out John Fury. I'd be calling out Tyson Fury. And I'd be saying, I'll be explaining what can happen. I wouldn't be talking about purse bids. I'll be saying, John, what are you talking about? Your son, John, why do you want your son to duck me for? Are you shook of me repeating what happened in sparring? Yeah? Are you shook about me hanging at the back of him on international TV? Is that what it is? Do you not want me to ride your son like an old nag? Yeah? I'll be talking about how John Fury got iced by some next Don called the Black Skellington. All them things. Instead, what we hearing? But Fury needs to do purse bids, and if he doesn't want to fight, you have to go purse. Make him have to fight. If you go in there and you question the man, or say, you don't even necessarily have to question the man, as in his substance. We know he went in there with Wilder and did a good job, but think deeper. I'll be saying things like, yeah, you put on a good fight with a man who couldn't fight back for the last 5 rounds, or didn't fight back. To your credit, now I'm not knocking your performance, but the bottom line is, you look good against a man who was shot for 7 rounds. These are the things that Dillian Whyte should be developing right now. Putting the questions in some of the fans' minds. Wait a minute, that is true. It is true. Tyson Fury took a whole lot longer than it should have taken, because Wilder was a zombie. Yeah? He wouldn't have got... Create him, get the fans' imagination going. Right now, all the fans can think about is the John Fury narrative of Fury's too good, he doesn't need to fight these guys. That's the last, and bear in mind, fans are biased to their recent visuals. The recent visuals are a Tyson Fury dominating. Then they've got John Fury and other people in their ear telling them, yeah, he don't need to, he's too good. So all the fans say is, yep, he's probably too good. Why do we need to see Dillian fight? Well, your job should be to explain to the fans why. Picking up on them things and airing it out on public stage. That's what a good marketer will be doing right now. Instead, you got some next Don who don't even know his own name. What's his name? Lance? Not Lance. Lamar? I don't know. Whatever the goofy his name is. Dean, yeah, some goofy Don changed his name. But that's what I'm saying. People say, why? What do you mean? What do you mean? The 2021 man has been feminized. Wait a minute. You've got a man called Lamar Scott, a big hardback, 6'5", Brixton Donny, who changed his name to that of another man for the bag. Wow, it's bad. Wow. There used to be a time when men would draw a line on what they'd do for a bag, but these days, a man will change the name to another man's name just to chase some coins. Wow. Wow. Big hardback. That's what I'm saying. Big hardback man as well. It's a bit like AJ. I wouldn't even mind, if these was the lightweights, but you got big hardback heavyweight dons, soft as butter, yeah? That's what they are, super soft. It's not good, not a good look at all. And then you got Dillian censoring himself. Listen, Dillian, if you want this fight, do some talking. How about that? Proper talking, deep talking, yeah? About censoring yourself. Listen. Last thing I'll say is, ain't no one trying to hear about your purse bids, yeah? Nip it in the bud. Now, yeah, should Tyson Fury do this fight next? Absolutely. And if Tyson Fury doesn't do this fight, I think he will do it, to be fair. I think if he's forced to do it, to be honest, I think he'll do it anyway. To be honest, but that's not the point. The point is, in the meantime, the WBC's given Fury 30 days, so it's no shock nothing's been signed now. This next 30 days, or this next 2 weeks, Dillian Whyte should have been already putting videos out, putting Instagrams out, teasing the fans' imagination. That's what I believe they should be doing. Too often today, fighters, they rely on, I don't know what it is, but you got no excuse. Yeah? Mike Tyson was on there talking about Razor Ruddock on some Fox News thing, meaning that you fighters have been blessed with a platform. You can literally talk to millions of fans and create. And you know as well, if Dillian Whyte puts out a minute video, all the newspapers are talking about it, all the YB talking about it, all the bloggers and whatnot. So you've got no excuse. It's not like you can say, well, YB, I'm being shut out by the mainstream media. Mike Tyson was big enough to get on Fox. We can't get on Fox. That's a lie. So what is your excuse? Takes 5 minutes of your time. Yeah? Write down all the things you feel you're going to exploit. And then put that into some sort of, you know what I'm saying? And get out there and get it. Because then, if the fight don't happen, you can say, well, the bottom, I told you why the fight wouldn't happen. Because he knew, I ain't going to gas after 3 rounds like Deontay Wilder did. And he didn't want it. Him and his pops knew. Him and his pops already told everyone. He don't want it. Because I'm too young, too fresh. Yeah? I'm too hungry. And everyone knows I'm prepared to go spark out. And that's why, if I was Dillian Whyte's team, I'd be flipping that whole Povetkin narrative too, yeah. You don't want someone like me. You don't want someone who... I know AJ. That's what I'll be saying right now. Right now, I'll be saying, listen, the reason Fury may have signed the AJ fight recently and not my fight is because, guess what? He knows AJ floppy. Yeah, AJ happy, AJ and his team happy to go in there and just survive. Me, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to spark out. And Fury don't want no one who prepared to go spark out. Wilder was prepared to go spark out, but he just stood there. He won't really do much. Yeah, he wasn't dangerous. Me, I'm dangerous all the way through. No doubt.